This video is going to be a little bit different to what you're used to. It's still going to be an investigation into a mysterious channel that I just so happened to come across, but instead of a documentary kind of format, it's going to be in the form of some Twitch highlights from my stream, and then I've added in some afterthoughts and spliced them together in hopes to create some kind of easier video to make for me. This isn't going to actually replace the documentaries, but I do need something in the middle while I work on these, pretty much to help fund them. And I figured this might be an interesting way to kind of introduce you guys to some channels that probably wouldn't make their way into an Inside a Mind video originally. So hopefully this can give some more eyeballs onto channels that deserve more attention. With all that being said, enjoy the video. So this is White Stag Education. It really took off the last couple of weeks because this video that came out featuring a puppet show. Important for subtitles as well to be included in this.
Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. I'm Rex. What's your name?
Jamie.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to tell all the other forest friends about you. Would you like to come camping with us? There's gonna be lots of fun activities.
And so obviously as he wanders off, you can see some interesting information in the background here, as we got that lovely little picture of some random girl in a picture frame, which we will get answers to in the future. And then there's all the other forest friends in the picture frame behind us.
Huh? Where's Rex? Wait, who are you? I've never met you before. Rex, how do you know they're not a stranger?
Well, I don't know.
So it obviously begins with these two puppets, Anna and Rex, deciding whether or not you are a stranger. They're unsure about this, so they'll go to Ranger Luke, one of their friends that has a better understanding of what a stranger is. And what's kind of striking about this is that when we meet him, he looks at us for a bit and then says, "They don't look like a stranger to me." And that's the key thing I think here. He says look like a stranger. They don't look like a stranger. We usually associate a stranger with someone we don't know, like anyone that we have never seen before. Luke is seeing us for the first time and is judging by our appearance that we're not a stranger.
Say, do you guys remember the ways to spot a stranger?
Well,
Not really.
That's alright. We'll learn together with our new friend.
yay!
Yay!
Remember that story from way back when? If you can't recall, let me tell it again.
Ranger Luke then goes to sing a song about stranger danger, using the example of the Little Red Riding Hood tale, but with a slight spin on it. This time it seems Little Red Riding Hood is following a certain trail that will lead to her grandma's house, but along the way she seems to steer off the path, and eventually finding an area where there are birds singing while there's no birds in the sky. It isn't until she gets to her grandma's house where we go back to the original tale, and obviously she finds the wolf inside.
Little Red arrived with her basket of bread. There was no sweet granny lying sick in her bed. It was too late, Granny locked the door. Red saw her face, it wasn't her. Don't trust the big bad wolf.
So after that song is over, we're then introduced to the two other puppets that we haven't seen yet, Gleason and Oswald, who have apparently decided to go hiking, but stumble upon a false trail. Unfortunately, they don't realize until they start to hear whistling. That actually connects to the Little Red Riding Hood song, where there are birds chirping, but we don't see any birds in the sky. In this particular situation, these two puppets are a little bit more prepared and are able to identify that the whistling means the strangers aren't hunting. So they remember their training and they sit still, stay quiet, and wait for the strangers to leave. Once they get back to the campsite safe and sound, they then tell the story to Ranger Luke and explain exactly what they did.
We heard the strangers whistling.
What did it sound like?
It was a song.
And what did you do?
We stopped, stayed quiet, and when we couldn't hear the song anymore, we turned around.
Great job, Gleason and Oswald. Now, what would you have done if it wasn't a song they were whistling?
We would have closed our eyes and ran away.
Always remember, strangers have no regard for your well-being. They aren't like us. Do not follow them into the woods, no matter how friendly they look. See you on another episode of
Forest Friends!
All living things.
As the episode ends, we find out that the series of Forest Friends was made in the memory of 4 children who appeared to have lost their lives. All the puppets are named after these 4 children: Rex, Gleason, Anna, and Oswald. The girl we see in the picture frame at the start of the episode was actually the real Anna that we see at the very end. The theory right now that I'm getting is that something happened to these kids in the forest which inspired Forest Friends to talk about stranger danger, and specifically strangers that live within the forest. And if we actually go to some of the other videos on this channel, we find out a little bit more about who these strangers are. Hiking in the New Jersey Pine Barrens can be a wonderful experience, but it is not without its dangers. When hiking, it is important to stay on the right path. So this video actually talks about hiking in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, which is pretty much the place where stranger danger seems to be taking place, since there's a lot of similarities, such as trailblazers that are marked on trees look very similar to the ones that we saw in the Little Red Riding Hood song that was playing in the last one. That, and also they talk about the masked people that have lived in the woods for hundreds of years. The masked people have lived in the Pine Barrens for hundreds of years. An unholy entity, I can read, holds dominion over the woods. If you hear the whistling, you have stumbled upon a false trail. I love the masks as well. Evacuate. Oh, great. So basically it says, if you want to go camping, have all this stuff, and then your final point is, don't do it. Yeah. So this video actually gives us a specific location of where these strangers are located, specifically the New Jersey Pine Barrens. And they've actually set up the trails as a way to stop you from veering off into territories where these strangers will come and kidnap you or hunt you, which obviously ties more into the theory that these 4 children probably did veer off the trail and probably get kidnapped by these strangers, potentially killed, sacrificed, or something worse, maybe. But that leads us on to the third video that we're going to show you, which I think ties a lot of this together and creates some interesting theories in my brain of what is exactly going on here. The following information video was not produced by White Stag Education. We have redistributed this video for educational purposes only. The use of the Intuitane domestic pill and similar products is highly discouraged. Thank you for your cooperation. Over the past 7 years, Genesis Technologies has been developing a drug that heightens the accuracy of human foresight. This drug is named Intuitane. This information video will analyze some of the tests and trials run by Genesis Technologies and disclose potential side effects of the Intuitane domestic pill. 2 groups of 25 laboratory mice were placed in a pitfall maze with a piece of cheese on the opposite end. The mice in group 2 were each given a 50 milligrams dose of Intuitane, while group 1 acted as the control group. So this company obviously created a drug that could supposedly give you a sixth sense. They did a test on the mice at first where they put traps around a little course, and the ones that took the drug actually were able to detect where the traps were and would more often than not move their way around to get to the piece of cheese that was put on the other side, whereas all the ones that didn't take the drug pretty much, I assume, died horribly. apparently. Then they did a test on humans where they pretty much got them to guess what color on the traffic light would light up at random. Out of all people in group 1 that didn't take the drug, got something like 31%, but then group 2 got 100% at guessing it correctly, meaning this drug definitely works really well for human beings. The only problem is the side effects. Users of the Intuitane domestic pill have reported having more vivid and lifelike dreams while asleep. These dreams can cause paranoid tendencies and insomnia. Genesis Technologies believes that the following 2 dreams are caused by Intuitane's stimulation of the subconsciousness. Caused by Intuitane's I can't frickin' read these things. Intuitane's stimulation of the subconsciousness. I keep saying, what is it? Subconsciousness! Genesis Technologies believes that the following 2 dreams are caused by Intuitane's stimulation of the subconscious mind and may possibly depict future events. Why was that so hard to say? Does he look a little bit familiar? Margaret's dream was about a never-before televised puppet show featuring 4 colorful puppets and a park ranger. She said the puppet she illustrated was named Rex. So obviously, like, immediately, the fact that this is a dream suggests, how are we seeing a TV show about Rex and the other 4 puppets in the previous one? How's that possible if it's just a dream? Well, the other dreams that are taking place suggest that it may not be just something that's happening in Margaret's head. For example, here's Henry Ledger's dream. In Henry's dream, he witnessed a meteor falling towards the Earth. He watched the meteor crash near his home in Barnegat Township, New Jersey. Specifically New Jersey, where, you know, that place where the Pine Barrens are. The one that we've been watching about the hiking safety stuff. And then this is the cherry on top. Henry's dream has helped Genesis Technologies discover a new comet, now named Ledger's Comet. So the comet actually existed. Like, they actually dreamt of the comet crashing into New Jersey Pine Barrens somewhere. And if that is actually real, then that suggests that Margaret's dream might actually be pretty real too. And that's why we're able to watch this live action show, because it does actually exist. So that also leads on to the 3rd dream, where I have a bit of a working theory. Daniel Carpenter's dream. Here we go. So we notice that these are obviously the strangers that we've been learning a lot more about. 2 of them with those owl masks, but then there's one with a bunny rabbit or wolf. So that's why they probably mentioned the big bad wolf in that video earlier. In Daniel's dream, he was standing in front of a group of masked humanoids. He recalled an immense amount of heat emanating from the large hole they surrounded. So in this diagram, you can actually see that there is a hole they are all standing around. 3 days after his dream, Daniel had a violent encounter with 3 of the masked humanoids from his dream. However, he did not come across the large hole in the ground. So what does this mean? I have a little running theory of what's happening here. So I think it starts with this comet, all right? This comet, I think, crash landed in the New Jersey Pine Barrens at a certain point in a few hundred years ago. I think the villagers that were nearby the comet started worshipping it because whatever was inside this comet was alive. The actual Pine Barrens, or one of these videos, specifically talks about a live being as well as the strangers. The village people, I think, started worshipping whatever this being was, and that's what that hole in the ground is, this god that they looked up to. And those village people became the strangers. And whatever it is, I think they needed either sacrifices or something needed to be given to this comet creature. And so these strangers started luring people away, like luring people off the trails in New Jersey Pine Barrens and took them to this comet to potentially sacrifice, turn them into a monster. Not quite sure what they've done to them yet because we don't have enough videos as of right now. But I think at some point these strangers diverted 4 kids off of the trial: Rex, Oswald, Gleason, and Anna. And so when people found out about this, they made the stranger danger video to basically teach more kids about these strangers in the woods, trying to lure them away to this strange entity that these strangers worship. So they made this stranger danger video in honor of them, to basically warn other kids to not go into the forest. Don't trust the big bad wolf, because the big bad wolf is one of the strangers, as we have seen right there. And that's why they were worried about us at the beginning when they found us. They were making sure that we weren't one of these strangers. Now, there is one final video that I actually haven't looked into as much as the other three, which is a church gathering where someone known as Pastor George Robertson reads out 2 sections from the Bible, and I don't quite know what these exactly entail, but some people, when we watched it live, suggested in the chat that some of the passages could be hinting that these strangers and the mass people in the forest could actually be immortal, gaining some kind of immortality from either sacrifices or taking people off the false trails when they hunt. My original theory was that the masked people are just groups of individuals that lived in the forest and had children, and then their children had children, and that's why they've been around for hundreds of years. But if this rings true, that it's immortality that these people are getting, then it could suggest that the original hunters or strangers from the very beginning, when the comet first landed, are actually the same ones that are living today. And in order for them to stay alive, they might have to take in some sacrifices or something like that. But that's basically all we have so far, and I highly recommend you check out this channel if you haven't already. That's what I wanted to make this video for, to try and give some attention towards it. If you do have some time, I'd actually love to hear what you think about this particular new format. It's not something that would replace the original documentaries. It's something I feel like I'd want to put in between the bigger videos, specifically because I think there's a lot of channels out there that I think could deserve some attention, but I don't think a grandiose documentary is needed to cover it. I think just a nice little deep dive into its lore to get you kind of a taste for it, and then you go and subscribe and then check out all the new uploads that come after, I feel like would be a much better way to get you guys interested in all these things that are coming out right now. But let me know if you think it's okay, or if you think it probably just should be put to the side and we just focus on the documentary stuff. Any kind of input is appreciated. Anyway, thank you very much all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.